Welcome back to the Capture the Moment podcast. Back with me and Lamar, and this is post Evo. So Evo was just this last weekend. We're going to be talking about mainly Evo stuff. Results, winners, announcements, trailers, our thoughts on some of this stuff. So, I guess maybe first some of the results of the actual tournaments. Did you watch like Street Fighter 6 or any of the main games?
Yeah, I saw like the top 8,
Mm-hmm.
and then the finals of Street Fighter 6. A couple of matches in the top 8 for Tekken. Let me see. Surprisingly, I didn't get to catch none of the City of the Wolves stuff.
Okay.
But I'm going to go back and look at it.
Yeah,
But other than
I don't
that,
think I saw City of the Wolves there.
yeah,
But thoughts on Mena RD taking it again in Street
yeah.
Fighter 6?
I was just about to say that. You say your boy did his thing,
Dude, I'm telling you, like I said this a little bit ago, and I think, on one of our talks, I think he's got to be in a conversation for maybe the best of all time is Street Fighter wise, because
Yeah.
he's crossed Street Fighter 5. He's been dominant in 5 and 6. Meanwhile, you have ones like Daigo and the older, heads, your Justins and your Yipes, who maybe they'll start off messing around with the game, but, a lot of even like Taquito, you don't see in the top 8, it's like he's gone. There's a few, and I was so surprised. I didn't watch all of the top 24 in the pools, but man, like some of these guys that were looking so dominant this last year, Blas, and who's that other? There's another young kid, a Ryu player from the UK, long blonde hair.
Ending Walker.
Yeah, there's some of these guys that like up and coming players. I mean, even Punk, and just nowhere to be seen in the top 8. I was like, damn, and then
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed about Evo. It's like, because I think one Evo Mena didn't even make it. Like,
well, yeah, but that just goes to show you, though. It's like Mena's dominance. Yeah, he had like maybe a bad year or whatever, but it's like, Daigo's never in top 8. As much as he still gets all that clout as far as being one of the GOATs. And I think it's just the time frame, because it was that arcade era. The fighting games were just starting to really get notoriety. So he had a major focus during like Super Turbo, Alpha 3, and Street Fighter 4, and Third Strike. So those 4 games he was very dominant in. Yeah. But it's like he was nowhere, in my opinion, he was nowhere near as dominant as Mena has been in 5 and 6, where it's just, Evo, Capcom Cup, Evo, it's just like, well, damn, like this guy is a monster. And I was thinking he had more than that, but
yeah, but you gotta look at it from. I hate to throw this in there. I don't want to say that age has something to do with it, but if you look at all the killers, they a lot younger. You know what I'm saying?
No, and that's the thing, is like you're eventually going to taper off. It's why you don't see Valle and Choi still playing. It's like you don't see people like me still trying to be a go-getter and be in tournaments, because I'm in my 40s, and it's like, yeah, when you're 20 and this is all you want to do, and you've got all this time, it's a lot different. But these people, and now that someone like a Mena can be sponsored and pretty much be doing it full time for a living, travel around, move to Japan, and have even higher tier people to play against, be in a closer quarters. So like, I'm sure he's playing the best of Japan, Daigo, Taquito, Fudo, different people on his team, even other people, competitors that aren't on his team, a Dogura or a Fugera, or, to get some different matchup knowledge, because it's such a densely populated FGC area. Japan, you could go an hour and find 10,000, really good. Whereas like in the U.S., you might have to go to cross 3 states to find some really good other areas. Where
It's so funny, bro, because even with Justin, I know you follow him too on YouTube. Like, he'll actually, it seems like he actually goes to Japan just to play those guys. Like, he plays a lot of guys online in like Street Fighter or
yeah.
older Marvel games.
Well, I think he's doing it for a couple reasons. So I don't know if you're aware of this. He has mentioned that he has another YouTube channel. So he has one that's fighting games and one that's like him touching grass, so to speak, like traveling,
Oh, okay.
experiencing food of different cultures, whatever. So when he goes on these trips, I'm sure a lot of that is going into his second channel, where like,
Oh,
and then he combines it, where like, okay, now he's in Japan, so he'll fight Mugai, a really good Zangief Silver Samurai and Hulk player in Japan or something, and he'll run some in-person sets because, a player like that is going to be hard to fight at full, 100% capacity because of the distance. Where, like,
right.
he can fight people in Cali, he can fight people probably anywhere in the U.S. and have decent connections when he plays online. But fighting against some of these people that are cross continent and other side of the hemisphere, and it's like that's harder to play with a decent connection, obviously.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. It's cool that he gets those matches, and he'll do, or he went and had a little spot with Mike Ross and Shien, or whatever, over in maybe when they were still in Singapore or whatever, and he'll do these different ones where he'll do like kind of maybe a first to 10 or an exhibition, or so it's definitely cool. But again, my hat's off to Mena RD, because I think he's just gradually squashing any kind of conversation at this point. I mean, he's just been so dominant. And like, again, Punk, hear that whole thing about like, hey, loser, and like the shirt thing, and that if you lost at Evo, you get a free shirt at the booth from his sponsor or whatever. And
hold on. Punk said that to me.
They had a commercial. It was like put out like on YouTube and all this different stuff. And so it was on one of the last couple button checks, and it was really funny. And then but anyway, and then he gets, he's not even in the top 8, and it's like, damn, someone that's this dominant. Or you take stuff like Street Fighter League, and you take these different things. So it's hard to say, but he again just kind of keeps proving himself over and over, and it just.
Didn't he win Evo Japan?
Yeah, so he had back-to-back Evos. He won Japan and he won this. So
shit.
Yeah, and I mean, winning 2 in a row is crazy. He won, I think, 2 in a row with his birdie, back in Street Fighter V, and so it's just, I don't know, it's really impressive. Plus, Capcom Cup or whatever, he won either 2 of those, or at least, maybe they weren't consecutive. I know IDOM won one year, but so anyway, so there's that. Then jump over to Arslan Ash in Tekken 8, and again, this guy's 8-time Evo champ. I'm like, god damn, like, and I think they said he only needed one more to dethrone someone. I think they're talking about Justin. I'm not sure, but I think Justin has 9 between all the Marvels. Marvel 2, he won like 6 of or something, and then he won, I think, 2 Marvel 3s and maybe a couple other random ones. Like, I don't know if he won a Ultra Street Fighter 4 or some other game maybe that was being played. A Third Strike, maybe after it had lost its popularity and he entered and won or something.
You mentioned Street Fighter 4 and Daigo, because I think that was probably the last Street Fighter he was actually kind of dominant.
Oh yeah, and they were showing this Evo. I don't know if you noticed, but they were showing like, so first of all, they had a commercial with Daigo in it with some AI and Visa Pay or whatever. So that was kind of cool. But then they had like a clip of him talking about like he realized at some point in Street Fighter 4 that like he was, had something additional, or like he was like able to play at a certain level that like was really high competition or whatever. And I'm kind of the same way. It's like he didn't really do that great in 5. Like he had moments where he had some promise, with Guile for a while, but
yeah, I remember though. Yeah.
it never took off like for some reason him and either Ryu or Evil Ryu was just a different thing, and even back when he played Super Turbo back in the day, he would mainly play Ryu or something like that. And then Third Strike, he played Ken. He always seemed to stick with like Ryu or Ken. And it seems like as he's gotten away from those characters, his success has been less. Like playing Guile or playing, some other character. So I don't know, man. I mean, again, it's hard to say like, okay, 20 years ago of 20 years versus now 20 years, which one matters more? All I'll say is the Evos have way more competition. They're huge. There'll be 1,000 people entering these tournaments compared to like back when Daigo was playing, and the tournament would have like 250 players.
I still feel like, because I always go back to that Evo moment, man. The execution required to do that damn parry, especially at that time when seeing it for the first time. Oh, I could imagine that was so fucking live. Just to see it live, that was so fire, bro. Because that, and then I look at prime example is the parry system. Like in Street Fighter 3, you have to block high, you have to parry high and to block high, parry low to block low. Whereas it's a universal parry, but granted, it's all in the timing with Street Fighter 6. So
it is. They did change it. They do have a low parry now. Yeah.
So you have to hold down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But for the first 2.5 seasons or whatever, 2 seasons, it was just hold, and it would parry
hold the button,
whichever way. Like.
Okay.
But the perfect parry is what makes it. Because you get that frame advantage to be able to punish, you get more of the drive gauge back. So, yeah. But still, so back to just the fact that Arslan Ash, oh my God, dude, 8 titles and, one away from being one of the highest medal. He's already one of the highest, but I think to dethrone Justin, if I'm not mistaken, he needs like one more. But again, it's almost a little, because again, Arslan Ash, even though it's maybe been some different versions of Tekken, like Tekken 7 and 8 or 6, 7 and 8, where Justin
7 and 8.
Yeah, and then Justin, it was Marvel 2 and 3 and maybe one random other game or 2 or something. Maybe he won a CBS tournament, or maybe he won, I don't know what all his, but I know the majority are Marvel 2, and then I think 1 or 2 Marvel 3s. So, but that's just ridiculous dominant. I mean, dude, when you can bring it like that year after year, and character updates, character nerfs, character buffs, you're still in it.
See, that's the thing right there, bro. Like how do the people sometimes they find those workarounds, to take a character that they want to stick with, and despite the nerfs, they still can somehow pull out a win with that character without dropping the character completely, because you already know the mentality of these guys. Like if the character gets nerfed too bad, they'll drop him.
Well, let me bring up another point, is that like back in the Daigo era, a character, that was the character. They were as strong as they were as weak as they were, and that's it. Where like it's almost harder now, in my opinion, to maintain being like that high of a level, because each season there's balance changes, there's nerfs, there's buffs, there's new characters being added that now you have to, some character comes out, like Tifa could come out next season and be just the biggest beast. I mean, look what Mai did to the game for like about a full season. Everybody was playing Mai, Knuckle Dew, and all these players that it's like Guile was good, but Mai is better, so I'll switch to Mai, and she's got all these shenanigans, and the the fan that bounces on their head.
Bounces twice.
It's like
3 times.
And so stuff like that, where it's like Daigo didn't have to compete with any of that, other than like near the end of 4, where there were seasons of the game coming out and it was being updated, like Ultra 4 and characters and adjustments. But like Third Strike, that never was a thing. Super Turbo, Alpha 3. So So, and I mean, not that he really messed with Marvel much, but But I mean, that it's a little different climate in the gaming sphere. So that's also something to kind of put some, asterisks by of like, well, So real quick, before we move on to Marvel Tokon, real quick, I wanted your thoughts on that. Like, did you hear that Marvel 3 on, what is it, PC and PlayStation, but maybe only PC, had an update randomly, like a few weeks ago? And
Marvel 3?
Yeah, Marvel 3, Ultimate Marvel 3. And everybody's like, wait, what?
See, that's crazy. I wouldn't doubt it, because I heard the most ridiculous fighting game is getting an update, and that's that Art of Fighting 3 is getting an update. And they're adding 2 new characters from a game that came out in 96.
Huh.
So I would, if they're doing that, and even that's SNK, totally different, company. But if they're doing that, I wouldn't doubt that they would update Ultimate Marvel 3. I mean,
so the thing is, it was more of a passive update. It was supposed to fix a couple bugs, but then on the PC version, it also broke Dark Phoenix and made it so that if she died, she wouldn't turn into Dark Phoenix. So everyone's like, well, wait, what? Like, so they either messed up or something. The question is, why would they mess with it at all? Like, the game is now, 10 years old or however long. And people are speculating, like, well, maybe they're about to, tweak the game. Maybe they're going to do an add-on of a few more characters down the road, or do some kind of, maybe release it into some kind of collection where they want to fix the way the game functions online or something. I don't know.
But that's like her whole gimmick. I mean, if she turn into Dark Phoenix,
it doesn't sound like it was intentional. I think it was an accident. But the other thing, you have a new character coming out in Blaze Blue with like 3 years later or however far. And then you have new characters coming out in did you see the Robo Kai? And
I saw that. Yeah.
And that's kind of cool. So what do you think of the Tokon, the final team?
Man, we got everything we wanted.
Yeah.
Now they really put me in the spot, man. Now I might have to get some online for my, going to get that PlayStation Plus. I've been putting it off, and I'm thinking about it, and I might pre-order the game, because I want to get in on that beta.
Yeah. Save up those fetch cards, and earn your receipts, and maybe put that towards a PlayStation 20. Well, no, I mean, I'm just saying, if you keep doing it and save up, and get maybe a friend or two, have your girl join, and that they're doing a promo right now, I think, for 6,000 points, just for referring a friend. You get 6,000, they get 2,000. So, like, imagine you got 2 people, 2 friends or family members, to just download the app, put in your code, boom, you're at 12,000 points. That's a $10 gift card, and that you could use towards the PlayStation Store, or something, whatever. Put it towards the game, or put it towards PlayStation Plus, or whatever. So.
I'm definitely gonna get it, bro. That's all you need to know. Come hell or high water.
I'm getting it for sure. And I think for sure now, I'm thinking the last team, the DLC, I think there's a good chance. Now, maybe not all of them, but I really think Punisher is going to be on that DLC team of 4.
Yeah, because I mean, to be honest, I wasn't expecting Loki, but I'm not mad at Loki.
Yeah, Loki
dude,
actually I bet it'll be sick. And now the thing is, remember what I said when I was speculating about Loki? And I said, what if he's either Shang Tsung, where he can take the form of someone else and have their moveset? When they introduced him, he started off as
Captain America.
So what I wonder is if at any point during the the thing. Like, can he take a different form? Maybe it's like he can only take the form of the opposing leader of the other squad or something, to make it so like it's not super broken, but like whatever. And like if their leader is Hulk, maybe he's allowed to, he can change into Hulk or something. Like, I don't know, but it could be some cool, way to, have an additional thing. So I just don't know if that's gameplay or if that's just
that was just the intro.
Yeah, just maybe an intro that sometimes he comes in as another character, and then or Cap specifically, since that was in the movie. That was in Thor Ragnarok, or was it Ragnarok, or it was one of the ones where oh no, it was Dark World, where he was like, he was pretending to be, Cap while he was talking to the hallway, the corridor, and then change back. He's like, I can feel the righteousness, and whatever. So that could have been a nod to that. And Deadpool's moveset, I saw the trailer, but it was hard because the audience was screaming so loud. So then I was watching Max's like him and the guys reacting to it, and going in slow-mo and looking at different stuff. And yeah, dude, like he has, I don't know if you saw, like he has Doom's dive kick.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, and so apparently on the website they say that he found like a manual or a game manual from other games, and so he's implementing other characters' moves that he read about in the strategy guide. And I'm like, oh my god, dude. So
that's
like,
so Deadpool.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
hilarious. Like he's got all this different stuff, and yeah, man. So I mean, and Blade looks sick.
I was watching it. Yeah, he was
Blade
like,
looks sick, dude.
Oh, and Blade looks man.
Yeah. So and then
yeah.
Yeah.
Blade,
who else? So Blade, Loki, and Deadpool. Yeah. So man, and they said specifically Blade is playable in the beta, but they didn't mention anyone else. So I don't know why they keep doing this, where it's like they'll show 3 characters, but then only like maybe one of them will be playable in the new build or something. They keep doing that.
On the bright side, I mean, the beta's coming out pretty much at the end of the month, and the game will be releasing in like maybe a week after the beta.
Yeah, pretty soon. So within a couple months, it'll be out, which is crazy. Yeah, I'm so hyped for it. And
man,
again, if I'll tell you this. This is my only consideration, is that if I enjoy Marvel Tokon enough, I may not mess around with Avatar.
Really?
And I just feel like I don't want to divide my attention like that. Like if I'm enjoying it enough, like if I'm like, man, this is amazing, I'm all in and I want to practice and get better, I worry that like, okay, playing 2 different games, trying to learn 2 different games, all different characters, different muscle memory, getting applied to button layouts. And I mean, I'm struggling enough even trying to learn how to play Invincible, let alone take on 2 new games at the same time. It depends. It depends on the maybe
and how easy it is too.
Yeah.
What if it's simplified? See, then you don't want it to be too simplified.
But that's the thing. If you watch Max play or Diaphone or some of these players, like their move list was like, I mean, it was almost Tekken bad. Like it was like pages and pages of moves, and I was like, damn, like they have like 20, 30 moves a piece, of all these different, and then those moves all get variants depending on what assist you have, the 1 of 3 play styles or whatever can change some of those moves or enhance them or whatever. So yeah,
you see the new characters. You said you're not. Are you familiar with the show, or you're not familiar with the show?
Not really. No, I had seen the live action movie, and I'm aware of from seeing posters and stuff some of the characters, but I had never watched the show, so I don't really know anything about the lore other than like maybe a couple characters. So when they keep introducing more and more characters, I'm just like, well, that person looks cool, and but I think he does. I think Max does, know about Avatar. Like I think he watched all the show. He said, See, I
Oh,
don't
okay.
even know their names. I have no idea. Some of them I can't tell other than their moves. Like, oh, this person seems like kind of water, but then they'll also maybe turn water into ice, and I'm like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah,
whatever. Like, that's cool. And whether certain ones have access to like two elements, or earth and wind, or just earth, or whatever. So,
yeah. I was watching Simmons,
yeah,
your video games,
yeah,
and he
yeah.
was streaming. I was watching. He's like a Avatar nerd, so he
hmm
knew all the characters and the ones that they were releasing, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this could be a good character." And, oh yeah, this is going to be a great. Oh, I was hoping that I guess every character that he was looking forward to, they're going to put in, and even future characters he's kind of excited for. So
I
I'm
just
just
don't.
interested
My
in the
thing is,
game.
I don't put his fighting game knowledge up maybe quite as much as like some other certain players. Like, he may know based on the show, but it's hard to know what character is going to be good or top tier, you know, compared
Yeah,
to another. Like, it's going to take time to see their move list, how they play, how they function, how they move around. Do they have, like, because there was another character, I forget, he was it the one with the fire that he had like a weird mechanic? He had like a little sword under his health bar and little gems, and or is that all the characters have like some kind of flow bar
I
under
think
their
they all
health
got
bar?
something.
Yeah, and
I
maybe they
think
function a
yeah,
little differently or have some kind of different accumulation, but
against all. Yeah,
yeah, but man, I'm super pumped for it. I'm kind of bummed only four more characters for the DLC, but again, pretty cool cast. I mean, I could see myself
yeah,
playing about five or six characters where I'm like, damn, I immediately want to start playing like Magneto and Carnage, and maybe Deadpool and Blade or
yeah.
something,
Because
and
I'm
I'm just
telling
like,
you, bro. I'm mixing and matching teams all day. I'm not just going to stick with the teams that, I
I
get the
still
team,
want to know.
unless
I
it's a
still want to know about
team
that Team
synergy.
Super. The Team
Yeah.
Super. Does it still activate with any team, or does it have to be like the core team? Like, is that a benefit of if you play that full team, or like if you split it up, do they still have a Team Super, just any four characters you pick? That's the only thing
Mm,
I'm curious about at this
yeah.
time,
Yeah.
is like how that works. But other than that,
I hope so.
a lot of sick characters so far on this roster. And I mean, again,
Yeah.
if this gets like, let's look to Street Fighter, or let's look to Guilty Gear, or let's look to DBZ. I mean, some of those games got like 15 characters over the course of a few seasons. So
Yeah. Yeah.
imagine doubling the roster of what we have now in Pokemon, and like, the sky's the limit. I mean, it could be Spider-Man, it could be, like Sabretooth could be in there, or it could be,
Yeah.
multiverse stuff from like another universe. Like, people were saying maybe like Peggy Carter could be in there or something, maybe,
Mm,
who knows,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's a lot of potential.
Question, like if you were to play when you play Tokan, like
hmm
granted, like we were just saying now, if you your own team based off all the characters now, what team do you want to run just based off the characters alone? Just I mean a made up team. It doesn't have to be
Yeah,
a
like I
set
said, like
team.
I'm thinking like Magneto, probably Magneto and Carnage for sure, because I think Carnage looks broke with his assists and stuff. But I'll tell you, like, something. There was a couple things. So Wolverine, it's cool that they gave him, and they kind of gave it to him from the X-Men arcade game, where he slashes his claws and it's like it shoots like a projectile across the screen. And I was like,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
it's cool that they gave him some kind of long range. So it's not like,
right.
oh, well, you have Wolverine, you can't do anything from full screen. And the Deadpool has like a projectile reflect, like he does in the show, in the movies, where he
Mm,
uses his swords and it basically nullifies incoming projectiles. And I was like, dude, that's pretty dope.
that's
Like,
kind of sick. Yeah, yeah.
so I might play like, I'm thinking Wolverine, Deadpool, Carnage, Magneto,
Ooh,
or
that sounds
maybe, or maybe get in like either Loki or Blade or something in there. But yeah, there's like five or six characters that I'm pretty sure I want to mess with. And everybody
Yeah.
else, I may mess with Spider-Man, or I may mess with, whatever. But
Okay. Same here. Same here. I'm definitely putting Blade on the team and Carnage. I was definitely looking at them too.
hell yeah.
Thinking Blade, Carnage, um, possibly Black Panther, and I'll probably throw Hawk in there too, because I just want to mix it up with a big character.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not
dude, that's
really,
the thing. I haven't seen barely anything on Hulk, and people
yeah,
were saying they're like, "Damn, like Hulk kind of got overshadowed." It's like they showed Black Panther and Hulk. They didn't really show a lot of in-depth gameplay. The beta didn't have Hulk; it had Black Panther in it. Now they've
yeah,
put out the villains team that has Magneto, still doesn't have Hulk. And then in the beta,
right,
they're talking about Blade and possibly still not Hulk. It's like, well, wait, what's going on here? Like,
right.
so I don't know if they're
Oh, we'll
hiding.
see.
Like, they're like, damn, he's about to be too broke. Like, we don't want to
I
show
was
this
just thinking
character
that, right? Like
something.
maybe
Like,
they, right? Like maybe they found something broken. Like, hold on now, we gotta fix this. You know.
yeah. Or maybe specific
Mhm.
interactions they're trying to hide, like with him and Loki, puny god or something. Like,
Oh yeah.
the puny god special or something. Like, I don't
He's the pretty guy
know.
special.
Grab his cape, like, bam, bam, bam,
That
bam.
would be sick though. Mm. Yeah, man. I'm looking
Well,
forward to it, man. Yeah.
yeah, so it
Mhm.
was pretty cool seeing all the stuff. I tried to watch
Yeah.
a decent amount of it.
It was
Some
a
I
great
missed,
Evo.
but yeah, I was pretty happy with everything. Did you hear about that little thing that Rick, I think is his name, the head guy of Evo, and talking about local tournaments. It's funny because Sajam and some of these commentators are like, oh, you know, they're anti-Saudi involvement because of like they feel like they're going to eat up all the locals and it's just going to be the super mega all the Evos and the EWCs and the Capcom Cups, and yet then Evo, one of their announcements was that they're going to contribute $1 million towards funding local FGC scenes, like smaller tournaments,
Man, I think that's
giving them,
great.
yeah. And I'm like, dude, that's exactly the opposite of what they were speculating. And I'm like, well, I applaud them for trying to do stuff like that and not
Yeah.
going about it that way of like, hey, we want everything to become super huge and like, where you got to, spend thousands of dollars to travel to another country or another state for all these super mega tournaments. And like,
Mm.
there's no grassroots anymore. There's no smaller locals to go to. And because, I mean, that's where you got to start, obviously. You got to start
Yeah.
at locals and, get better and get used to playing on stream and get the jitters out and, get used to the pressure and the high
Right.
stakes and, the nervousness and all that before you're like on Evo Grand Stage, I mean, it's
Right.
just,
I think that's great, man. I hope
yeah.
they,
So,
yeah, hope they do it
So
because
I
I see
think
her.
some of the community has been a little harsh on some of these things. I mean, they could be right on some of their predictions and thoughts, but I feel like
Yeah.
they're also not really open to, like Sajam did a whole big like, oh, I'm not covering any Evo this weekend. I'll talk about it after the weekend's over, like protesting Evo, and he didn't want to be part of Evo, and even Max like not going to
Yeah.
Evo, like but still streaming Evo,
Is that
like
all because of the Saudi situation?
yeah,
Is
it's
that
all
why?
because of the Saudi and the who bought, the
So if
team that
anybody
bought it.
else would have bought it, they wouldn't have a
I
problem with it.
guess, and then other people are writing in like, well, you do know that like Saudi or some other company owns this as well, like like owns Riot, who owns 2XKO, and yet you're supporting that, or whatever. Like
Hmm.
it's like there's always somewhere up. If you go up the ladder high enough, you're gonna find someone that you don't agree with. So it's
Right.
like
Right.
just enjoy the thing you do enjoy. Like if you enjoy 2XKO, enjoy it for 2XKO. You don't have to believe in everything politically that Riot Games, says on their
Exactly.
Twitter account. Like I don't know. It just to me,
No,
it's
I agree. Yeah, it's kind of dumb to me, honestly. Dude, I mean, it's a case of right message, wrong messenger, meaning you like what they're doing, but you just don't like the people behind it. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, I get it, but they're the only ones doing it. No one else is stepping up to the forefront, doing this with FGC.
Yeah, and then some of the
So
players even like, you had a Sonic Fox who was protesting EWC because how they treat gays over there, and he was worried. Some of them, there's a decent amount of gay and transgender in the FGC, as we know.
yeah,
And some of them are worried about going over to Saudi and like how they're whatever going to be perceived, or how they're going to be treated, or are they going to be rounded up and jailed or something, or I don't know. So
I mean, yeah,
and
but
again, it's like if you are with if you're sponsored and you're doing everything, and you're not like, I don't know, putting on some protest out in the streets, and you're just there for the tournament, and you know aren't acting a fool up on stage doing something, whatever. Like, yeah,
right,
maybe don't bring your furry suit, and don't
exactly.
do, like, you don't have to do that but so many people feel like they need to show off their individualism, or whatever. And
Right. It pisses me
um
off sometimes. It's like, come on, man. Especially when you're in an environment like that, just play the game. I mean, if you're
yeah,
going to pop off, pop off. But, just keep it about the game at the end of the day. We don't need to know your personal politics or sexual interests.
yeah,
I just want to know how good you can kick ass in the game. That's just me
yep,
personally, you
yep,
know.
I agree. So all right, man. Well, look,
Yep, yep.
I appreciate the conversation, and it was cool catching up on all the stuff. And
Yes, yeah.
I'm sure in the next few weeks here we're gonna have more info of, maybe I think FIFA announcement at some point in the next couple, and more Evo announcements, like that they're having, what is it, 5 now a year in Singapore and France and all these
Jesus.
different Nietzsche,
Well, yeah, I heard
and
about
I'm just like,
Singapore.
man.
That's
Yeah,
crazy. It's
yeah,
gonna be an Evo
Singapore.
every
So,
month.
yep. So again, but for people who live in the area, like, that's sick. Like, it's
Yeah.
not all about only the U.S. Like, and it's cool that we can have a tournament that big with a lot of notoriety and a lot of attention and tournaments and announcements, and not
Yeah,
just
man.
do it once a year in in August or July. Now we can pepper it throughout the year and have kind of smaller mini announcements, and a reason to show off a new beta or a new character or a new DLC or whatever.
Right.
Not having to necessarily wait for Summer Games Fest or Tokyo Game Show, or whatever state of play. Like, there's other venues now to be able to show off
Right.
some of this stuff.
Hey
um,
man, I'm here for it. I have
Oh
no
yeah.
issue with it. Keep them coming.
So, all right, man. Well, I'm
All right,
about to
man.
end things, so give me a second here while I end it. And all right, guys, we'll catch you next time.